Hello and welcome back to Oh No Not Another Podcast. In this episode, I interview Goliath Gaming FIFA star Shiaan. We chat about his beginnings in esports, experience playing FIFA internationally, and all the good things about up-and-coming FIFA tournament at the Rush Esports event at the Sun Arena. Without further ado, let's get into it. So, Shiaan, first question I got for you is you want to give the viewers a bit of a background in sort of your FIFA accolades and that sort of thing.
Okay, so I started playing FIFA when I was really small. I got
Right.
into online gaming in 2016, which was FIFA 17. Um, for my first time playing online, my first year, I qualified for an event in Doha, Qatar,
Wow.
and I missed making out of the groups by goal difference. So in FIFA 18, I qualified for FIFA 18. I won the VS gaming competition, which obviously allowed me to go to Amsterdam to compete. And this year in FIFA 19, I went to London to participate in the E-Nations tournament, and as well as my most recent one in Bucharest, Romania.
Oh, that is a lot of achievement in the FIFA world. I'm not even gonna. Yeah, that's crazy. Probably one of the most decorated players in South African esports. In fact, with the amount of international appearances you've had already in your career so far. So let's go right back to the beginning, right? So how young were you when you started playing FIFA?
I was probably 8 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, around 8.
So for all those listeners who are thinking, oh, it's super young to start playing FIFA and stuff from young age, I'll have you know, Indian kids are like born with a dummy in one hand and a FIFA controller in the other. It's just what we do, man. Ah. But how did you make the jump from playing FIFA, like just casually with your friends, with your family, your cousins, that sort of thing, to wanting to be or competitive FIFA player?
It's actually a funny story. I stumbled into it by accident because when I started playing online, I didn't think much of it. Like I just casually played, and
Right.
then one day I got a random WhatsApp from one of the guys saying that I actually have a chance to qualify for an overseas event, and I was confused because I did no research on this. I didn't know anything about it. But he said I actually have a chance. All I have to do is get a certain amount of wins in one of the weekends. And that weekend, I got required wins. And then next thing you know, I was playing in Qatar.
Whoa. That might be one of the craziest stories I've heard. So you accidentally became an esports player, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's crazy. So let's talk about some of your more recent experiences, right? You went to Bucharest, you said you went to Amsterdam, even your experience in Doha and Qatar in the past, right? What do you think? Like, how was the most recent experience you went to? I believe you played D2 Techs in your first round.
Yes, I did.
I saw it was a bit of a rough game. I think you lost. Was it 5-4 at the end?
Yeah, 5-4 in extra time over
So
two legs.
how was the experience as a whole? Like, I know you didn't qualify through the next rounds of the groups and that sort of thing, but how did you enjoy the experience?
The experience of the event itself was nice, and it also allowed me to gain experience in
Right.
terms of how to play against the pros, because you could see by the way they were playing, like they've been there more often. And for us South Africans, we just need to qualify more in order to gain that experience, which will help us.
Right. So I think so. Obviously, there's a level of skill gap, right, between you guys and the pros. Like, what did you say is like the main difference between a Shian or a Julio as opposed to a Tex or what's the other guy named MS Dasari, for example?
To be honest, there, there's no skill gap. The people I play in South Africa are just as good as the people I've played overseas. The only difference is the experience
Whoa. All
and
right.
the amount of opportunities, obviously. People overseas have much more.
Okay. So you think like the biggest thing to sort of put more SA players in the map was just like more opportunities, right? So if it's not really a skill gap, it's just an experience gap.
Yes, basically, because us in South Africa, this FIFA, we were put up against players in Saudi Arabia
Yeah.
to qualify for one spot each, like event kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this wasn't fair because the ping to their server is quite high, so we have lag and delay when we're playing them. And to try fight for one spot against them was quite difficult.
Yeah, that is rough. And it's kind of a common problem in all of South African esports, right? We had the Dota guys saying the same thing. They have to compete with EU players in EU qualifiers, playing on 180 ping. I mean, Counter-Strike, it's almost impossible to play ping, so you can only play locally. So for FIFA, it's the same situation. So I think if you had to think of a way to bridge the gap, right, it'd be something like if a org, let's say Goliath Gaming or Bravado or something, had to put like a gaming house in somewhere in Europe or somewhere in NA. You think if they put like 5 FIFA players in there, we could have a good chance of seeing some South African pro FIFA players.
Oh, definitely. If we do that, we can participate in tournaments in Europe, like local tournaments there. We could easily finish in the top 100 every weekend and easily qualify for events, in
All
my
right,
opinion.
I'm gonna ask you a juicy question. So if you had to pick 5 players to go overseas, right? You can include yourself or you can exclude yourself. I don't mind how you want to do it. Which 5 players would you pick to go?
Okay, so I would pick myself,
Of course.
Kalen, he plays on Xbox.
Yeah.
I'd pick Julio,
Yeah.
Tabo,
Right.
and the last one, probably Diop, Pirates Diop.
Yeah. I know him. He's really good as well.
Yeah.
That's a solid list of players. So if any sponsors are watching this video, any orgs who got some big opportunities for gaming houses overseas, there's your 5 guys to pick, alright? Especially my man Shiaan, of course. uh, Obviously we have a big tournament coming up now, right? We're recording this time of Wednesday. On Friday, Rush starts. I see almost all the big names in FIFA that I know of are signed up there. What do you think about the event from the surface of it, just looking at it, like prizes, that sort of thing? Are you excited for it?
When we saw the prizes as a FIFA community, we were actually quite surprised because the prizes are actually quite good. I mean,
Yeah.
first place gets what, 20,000 Rand and a S10 and a TV on top of that. So the prizes wise, it's quite good. Event itself, I think we're using Kickoff, which is not favored by the community, but that's what we use in South Africa. Hopefully in the future we can evolve into Ultimate Team.
So
But for now, yeah, I think it's fine.
I've seen you voice issues about this in the past. Like you had a Twitter poll and stuff going on about you don't like you guys prefer to play on the Ultimate Team. Like maybe for like average viewer, what did you think is like the biggest difference there from Kickoff to Ultimate Team?
The only difference would be playing throughout the year. And for people that played throughout the year, it would be an unfair advantage to casual players that haven't played Ultimate Team because our teams would be better. But
Right.
how it's run overseas is that they have unlocked accounts, so everybody has equal players. So everybody can build their own team, and yeah, basically that's how it's run.
Ah, okay. So like I remember at VS Gaming last year for their championships, they had because it's official qualifier, they had unlocked accounts for like the top 32, I believe it was. So something like that.
Yeah, basically something like that.
Do you know the tournament process like for local TOs can you apply for licenses and shit for that, or is it like very difficult to get?
I think it's very difficult to get because I think you have to pay EA a certain amount of money. I'm not sure how much it is.
Yeah, it is one of the biggest concerns with FIFA is that it feels like it's a very hard lock scene, right? It's like how FIFA does anything else. Like I'm not talking about the game, I'm like talking about FIFA the org. Is that you can't like broadcast their games. They have no like functions for casters and stuff. It's pretty sad that like one of the biggest esports or one of the most played games in the world is just kind of backwards in terms of the esports parts.
Exactly, and especially with prize money and everything, the amount of money that they gaining each year, we would think that the prize money for the events and stuff would be more. I mean, the Bucharest event, I think first place got, oh, the total prize pool was about $32,000, which isn't much if you
Yeah.
think about it, comparing it to Fortnite tournaments, etc.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
Fortnite are massive, like beyond everybody else. But I know what you're saying. Like in general, it's very small compared to like a Dota or Counter Strike or even Fortnite. It's like it's a big difference, and it's also they don't have support for third party events, right? Because I spoken to Nick Holden from ACGL about like why don't they have streams and stuff for his FIFA tournament. He says you're not allowed to. FIFA don't allow other people to broadcast their games and stuff. So it's a pretty rough situation.
Yeah, especially with that, I don't understand why, because it doesn't hurt them in any way. It provides an advantage to them, basically, to broadcast their game, to advertise their game, to get more people playing the game. But I don't know.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. It's FIFA. You can never expect EA and FIFA to make good decisions when it comes to like the general populace.
Exactly.
It is what it is. So, okay, so we're talking about sort of like while we're on the topic of format about like kickoff and ultimate team. I think the way Metal State are having it run this year is like they're having best of 3 knockouts after the groups. What do you think about like that? I heard Julio when I interviewed him in an article, he was saying that he thinks he'd like to see local TOs adapt international standards. I mean, is it possible to adapt sort of international standards for like kickoff modes, or like I don't even actually know what the international standards are there. So how do you think about their format as opposed to what you guys would like to see?
I think it is possible for us to use their format because it's Swiss round kind of format. So if you play the first round, anybody plays anybody. Right. And then if one person wins, you play against a guy that also won his game.
Right.
And then the 2 people that lost play against each other. And then it goes on like that. So if a person has 3 wins and 0 losses, then he'll play against another guy that had 3 wins and 0 losses. Right. And then from there, they determine who goes through by, I think if you get 3 losses, then you're out. And if you get 4 wins, usually
you go through.
And on top of that, it's 2 legs. But I think this year it's 2 legs at Rush, which makes things much better. Because usual tournaments in South Africa have 1 leg, which doesn't really determine the best player because anything can happen in 1 game. But sure, over 2 legs, if you lose, then you only have yourself to blame.
Yeah, I also really like what Metal State are doing at Rush as well. They're having, it's not so, usually you guys played, I think at Rush last year you guys played 2 legs, but this year they're doing like a best of 3, so kind of like a CSGO Counter-Strike match where winner of the 2 out of 3 goes through, which is pretty cool. In the final, of course, will be best of 5s.
Yeah, that's definitely fine. We're also surprised at the best of 5s because us as a community have never played like 5 games in a row against each other. But I guess it should be fun.
Let me tell you something about best of 5s, because Dota is like super common from my perspective in the Dota world to see best of 5s. It can either be like one guy is just gonna smash a guy 3-0, or you could see some of the wildest BO5s ever. Like you see full 5 games, epic match here, epic match there. So I think, seeing the 2 top FIFA players in South Africa potentially playing a best of 5 could be super entertaining, I think.
Yeah, no, it definitely could be entertaining.
Hopefully Shiaan's in the final, the one guy who jumped on the interview with me.
We hope so.
So far for this event, right? We're ticking off prize pool. We like it. The format's looking good as well. Who do you think is going to be, in your opinion, who do you think is going to be the top, let's say who's going to make the semifinals, the top 4 players, in your opinion?
Semis. Obviously, yeah. I hope I'm going to be there. But
of course.
Other than me, 4 players, I'd say Kalen, Julio, Tabo, and Diop.
All right.
Those are the 4 people that have actually run the FIFA scene and have dominated previous tournaments.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, when looking at tournaments, I think like Julio won Rush last year. He won the BVD FIFA thing. Like Diop was in the top 3 of the FIFA tournament as well. I don't remember who lost in the finals to Julio, but like I kind of agree with what you're saying. From what I've seen, obviously I haven't seen all the FIFA tournaments, but for the majority of them, I think that's a pretty spot on top 4.
Yeah, I think the only way that I don't see those 4 making it is if obviously they play each other and knock each other out in previous rounds.
Yeah, and if you had to exclude yourself, who would replace you there?
I actually don't know. Maybe Zadie, Pirate Zadie.
Oh yeah, is he the guy who won VS Gaming, the original one, the first one?
No, 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 that was Zuhair.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Sorry, getting my names mixed up. Yeah, but yeah, it's a solid field of competition. Now I got another. This is a bit of a funny question, right? It's who do you think, like, which, obviously FIFA is an individual game, but football is a team game, right? And there's like multiple teams coming, multiple players from the same teams, like you guys at Goliath Gaming, Orlando Pirates, Bravado, etc. So who do you think is like the strongest? Who do you think feels the strongest team?
I would definitely say Goliath has the strongest team because just based on the fact that we've qualified overseas event, which is what can I say, important,
Yeah,
and especially local tournaments recently, you've been seeing Goliath winning most of them. Um, Pirates basically they have numbers, but the
right.
quality I feel comes from Goliath.
Okay. All right, spicy hot takes. I like it. You know, when I have a player who's honest with his opinions, I fucking love it. I don't like these guys who are like, oh yeah, this top competition, that's not making for good viewing. Then people are gonna watch it and be like, okay, it's a good show. But if you say something's offensive, you're gonna get lots of people liking it. But I don't think you said anything
Yeah,
wrong.
no,
You can
I
back up
speak
what
my
you say.
mind.
uh, all right, but anything else you'd like to add? I think it's been a solid interview so far. I've learned a lot about the FIFA SA scene.
Um, Not really. Just for the younger people, just keep at it. That we put you know, to make things easy on future generations.
Right. I think the Fortnite community is a good example of that. Like, from what I've seen, they look like they really welcoming and help the new guys coming in. I feel like FIFA, from what I've seen, obviously not a lot. I'm not being involved in the scene, but you guys look like quite a welcoming group of people, right?
Yeah, definitely, and especially with the Fortnite community, I think Bravado recently got into
Yeah,
Fortnite. They signed um one kid, I forgot his name.
Kareem Khan.
Oh yes, yes, yes. That's him. Yeah, I saw on Twitter they signed him, so that should be interesting.
Yeah, for
Especially
sure.
playing on our ping. I think if we do go overseas, we should have a big chance.
All right. And then one bonus question. It's a personal thing. I remember you mentioning to me at VS Festival last year when the one you won. I asked you why you don't play in an org because you weren't playing at an org at the time, and you said, you know what, you don't like playing at org because you feel it's bad omen, it's bad luck. You know, I always feel too much pressure. But now you're in Goliath Gaming, so how have you enjoyed that experience so far?
Um, the thing is, I noticed when I went to Amsterdam, how can I say? It was lonely. I can say that. Like there was no support there. So
Right.
now, being a part of Goliath when I recently went, it really helped that my teammates or managers came with me to provide support and do everything for me, basically.
All right, that's cool. And it's like that's an important thing. Like managers are such a play such an important role in like in esports or even in typical sports. You always have your coach, your manager, you're this guy, you're that guy. So I think same goes for esports. And I will say like Goliath Gaming have around one of the best MGOs in South Africa. You know they have a lot of support for their players.
Yeah, no, definitely. In all of our teams, I'm sure, because I know for our team, we have support from the management. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for doing this interview, Shiaan. Have enjoy the rest of your evening, sir.
Yeah, thanks. You too.